Hello, this is David, and today I'll be doing the second part of Lab 9 of INTC 2030. What we're going to be doing on Lab Part 2 here on Lab 9, we're going to be doing an IP security policy, and then we're going to create a GPO to enforce that IP security policy. And what we'll be doing here, we're going to be on the first thing, we're going to run Wireshark to capture some network traffic, and then I'm going to show that it's not unencrypted. Then what I'm going to do is install IP security policy, and then I'm going to create a GPO for that secure IP security policy, and I'm going to enforce it, and then I'm going to run Wireshark again to prove that the packet was encrypted. Before I get started, the ones I'm running now is the instructor 801 and 802. I've joined 801 and 802 to the domain, so I'm going to be creating my IP security policy and GPO all on my instructor 01 Active Directory domain controller, and then I'll be enforcing that policy. So the first thing let's do is crank up Wireshark here. While Wireshark is coming up there, I will tell you that Wireshark, the program, is available free to download from the internet. I think it was at wireshark.org. Okay, it's completed loading, so let's start it up here. Get some packets here. Okay, it's started now. So let's go over here to 802, and where we set those shared folders up on each of these two servers. So let's try going to 801 here in that Lab9 folder. And let's open it up, and that way we can see that our text is not going to be encrypted. So let's close this out. Okay, I went to my 801 where my Wireshark is running. Now I actually done a edit and a find, and I just searched for a Lab9, and I brought a packet up here. Bring it up here. That back down. And if you notice here, that the bottom portion over here shows the contents of the packet. And you can see here where I got W2K801. Of course, I got the //, then /lab09. So that's where one place it was trying to, the packet showed to retrieve at. So let's do a find next. Let me find the packet with actual data in. And it looks like this is it, because here's the text file that we was reading. Let's open this, pack it up. That's where it's opened the file. So let's do another find next. And I went through doing my search there and finally found it. This packet right here, you'll actually see that this is a text file on 801, and that's the data. I've closed the Wireshark out just to make sure that it was, that was the text on 801 here. I'm on 801. Let's go to that folder now. And see, it says that this is a text file on 801. That's what our packet showed. And now we're going to continue on with part 2 here. on the second step in it, and we're going to install a IP security policy. So to do that, you just go to Start, Admin Tools, and Group Policy Manager, and it'll bring this screen up. Let's just go ahead and expand it here to the domain that we're on. Let's click on the default domain policy, and what we're going to do, we're going to do an edit on it, and then we're going to the computer configuration. We're going down to policies, Windows settings, security settings, and then we're going to scoot this over here. Click on the IP security policies, and what we want to do here is right click on it and create a new security policy, and the wizard will come up, and let's just call this Lab9 IP security policy, and click next. And if we want to activate some earlier versions of Windows, you need to check here, but since we're all on Windows 7 here, we'll be okay. And now we're going to finish, and then we're going to edit the properties. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a rule for our policy, so we need to do an add, and the add rule wizard comes up, and we'll just give it a next here. This rule does not specify a tunnel, so we'll give it a next. All network connections. We got our policy set up, and we need to now create a rule for our policy, IPSec policy. You can add a rule here, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to modify the default here, and it'll prompt me the default response rule will not be valid on Windows Vista or earlier versions of Windows. We're going to say yes to that, and then we're going to do an edit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to leave the Kerberos method on there, but let's go back over here and let's edit this one, and we're going to do a custom, and here's our encryption. And if you remember from the PowerPoints, here's our encryption methods, and 3DES is pretty good encryption, so that's what we're going to leave it as, and we'll say OK. And say OK, and OK, and OK, and OK. Now we've got our security policy set up. We've got our rules set up with our encryption method set up. So now what we need to do is create a GPO and connect this Lab9 IP security policy. And we've got our GPO set up. So what we want to do now is we want to go into the GPO, and we're going to be doing an edit, and we'll go down the same route as computer configuration, policies, Windows settings, IP security settings, and then IP security policies on Active Directory. So let's highlight that. And right now, as you see, none of the policies are assigned. So we'll click on Lab9 IP security policy, and we're going to assign it. Okay, we got it assigned now. So we can close this window out now. What we want to do now is go to the domain, the lucidpublishing.com domain, what we want to do is we want to move this up, and then we want to right click on it, and we want to enforce this GPO. So what we want to do now is we'll go to every one of the servers, and we're going to be doing a GP update /force, and we'll be doing that on all three of the servers down to the 802 and updating the policy on it. I've already done it on the 801 here. It was successful. As soon as it gets through updating the GPO policy for the domain, then we're going to crank up our Warshark again. And let's just go ahead and close this out. Now Warshark is on 801. Let's crank it up here. We've got our Warshark going now. Let's go over here to our 802. And we'll go back to that file again. Lab9. We're going to open it back up and look at the data. Then we're going to find the packet. See if it's been encrypted. What I'm going to do now is in my Warshark is I'm going to edit, find packet. I set up my display filler, and I'm going to look for this string of encrypt, and we'll see what I can find. As I go through here, it show me that these files are the ones there are not encrypted, but we'll come upon encryption here in a second. Okay, we've found the one that supports encryption. This file system supports encryption. If we go on down on here, it even tells us it's a NTFS file. That concludes this tutorial. Thank you.